Every gardener dreams of soil that feels alive, loose, fertile and full of promise. The kind of soil that makes roots race downward, leaves glow greener, and harvests come in heavier than expected. But here's a secret that might surprise you. The path to that dream soil doesn't always come through expensive fertilizers or complicated amendments. Sometimes it starts with something as humble and overlooked as a grain of rice. Yes, the same rice you cook for dinner could hold the key to unlocking bigger worms, richer soil, and a garden that practically grows itself. Worms have always been nature's underground workforce. They don't demand wages, they never call in sick, and yet their impact is enormous. Each worm you nurture in your soil works tirelessly to aerate the ground, break down organic matter, and enrich your beds with castings so potent that researchers call them black gold. A garden rich in worms is essentially a self-sustaining ecosystem where plants thrive effortlessly. But the real question is, how do you attract more of these soil champions and keep them multiplying? The answer lies in the way worms feed, and that's where rice steps in as a game changer. To understand the power of rice in the garden, it's important to first appreciate what worms actually do. Worms are not just recyclers, they are soil architects. Every tunnel they create becomes a channel for air and water to reach plant roots, preventing compaction and boosting overall soil structure. Every mouthful of decayed matter they consume is transformed into castings rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and a range of micronutrients. These castings don't just fertilize. They enhance microbial activity, improve soil texture, and increase the soil's ability to hold water. Studies have shown that healthy worm populations can improve crop yields by as much as 25%, which makes nurturing them one of the smartest moves a gardener can make. At first glance, rice might seem too simple to play such a powerful role. Yet when you understand how worms thrive, it begins to make perfect sense. Worms are not directly attracted to rice itself. Instead, rice serves as fuel for the microbial life that worms depend on. When rice enters the soil, its starches quickly break down into sugars, sparking a microbial feast. Bacteria and fungi multiply around it, creating a hotspot of activity. Worms flock to these microbe-rich zones, feeding on both the organisms and the partially decomposed rice. The result is a powerful chain reaction. Rice boosts microbial populations, microbes attract and feed worms, worms grow bigger and reproduce faster, and the soil becomes increasingly fertile. Over time, this cycle transforms ordinary soil into a living, breathing ecosystem. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity. Rice can be used in different forms, depending on whether you want a quick boost or a slow-release effect. Done properly, it can supercharge your worm population and enrich your soil in ways you can actually see and feel. Leftover plain rice, free from oil, salt or spices, is one of the fastest ways to spark microbial activity. Spread a thin layer directly over your garden bed, then cover it lightly with compost, soil or mulch to prevent pests from finding it. Within just a few days, you'll notice more worm activity in that area, and within weeks the soil becomes noticeably softer and darker. If you want a slow-release option, uncooked rice works beautifully. Just crush it lightly or use broken grains for faster decomposition. Mix about 1 handful of dry rice into every 2 square feet of compost, or bury it 2 to 3 inches deep in your raised bed. Over time, it breaks down steadily, keeping microbial life thriving and worms engaged. One of the most overlooked yet powerful uses of rice is in the water you normally discard after rinsing it. Rice wash water is full of starches that microbes absolutely adore. Instead of throwing it away, dilute it properly and feed it directly to your soil. For best results, rinse 1 cup of uncooked rice in 2 cups of water, swish thoroughly, and pour the cloudy water over your garden bed or compost pile. This simple liquid feeding instantly nourishes microbes while keeping soil moist, both of which attract worms in large numbers. Repeating this practice once every 2 weeks during the growing season gives your soil a consistent boost. If you maintain a worm bin, rice can become a powerful supplement. Just add small amounts of cooked or soaked rice mixed with shredded leaves or cardboard to balance the carbon and nitrogen. Worms love the soft texture and the microbial growth that follows. The key is moderation. Adding no more than half a cup of rice to a medium-sized bin once a week prevents souring while still keeping your worms thriving. As effective as rice is, it's important to apply it with balance. Too much rice in one spot can ferment, attract pests, and create unpleasant odours. Always cover rice with a thin layer of soil or mulch to keep it working underground where it belongs. In warm climates, rice decomposes quickly, so smaller amounts added more frequently are better. In colder regions, bury rice slightly deeper so it breaks down steadily without freezing at the surface. Blending rice with other organic matter such as banana peels, coffee grounds or dried leaves provides a more balanced food source for both microbes and worms. When you consistently introduce rice in small amounts, the transformation becomes impossible to ignore. Worms grow larger, multiply faster, and cluster in the areas you've enriched. Their castings enrich the soil with concentrated nutrients, leading to visible improvements in plant health. The soil becomes looser, better aerated, and easier to work with, while roots penetrate more deeply without resistance. Plants respond with greener leaves, sturdier stems, and stronger resistance to drought or stress. It's not an exaggeration to say that rice becomes a silent partner in your gardening success. Every handful is like a spark that lights an underground engine, driving fertility and resilience from the bottom up. When I first tried this method, I wasn't convinced. I'd always relied on traditional composting, leaves, vegetable scraps and manure, but one day, with a bowl of plain leftover rice in hand, I decided to test it in a corner of my raised bed. I buried it under a thin layer of mulch and left it alone. A week later, I pulled the mulch back and found worms everywhere, bigger, healthier and hungrier than I had ever seen. That single experiment changed my entire approach. Since then, rice has become a steady part of my soil building practice, and the results have been consistent every season: looser soil, stronger plants and richer harvests. What makes this practice so powerful is its accessibility. Rice is affordable, easy to use, and already in most kitchens. More importantly, it teaches us that soil building doesn't have to be complicated. By leaning into natural processes, microbes feeding worms, worms enriching soil and soil supporting plants, we create gardens that are both productive and sustainable. Rice simply accelerates what nature is already designed to do. Whether you're setting up your first raised bed or fine-tuning a seasoned garden, rice is a simple yet powerful tool you should not overlook. It's not about replacing your composting practices, but enhancing them with a natural booster that worms can't resist. By making rice a regular part of your soil care routine, you unlock the secret to bigger worms, richer soil, and healthier plants. So next time you cook rice, think beyond the dinner plate. Save a little for your soil, pour the rinse water on your garden, or tuck some grains under your mulch. Watch the transformation unfold, and soon enough, you'll see why rice is the gardener's hidden superfood. If you found this guide valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Crops Haven and share this with a fellow gardener. Together, we'll keep uncovering the simple, natural secrets that make gardening easier, richer, and more rewarding.